Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. I am thrilled to be here with you to officially announce the exciting new features added to the AutoTardy plugin, specifically the powerful enhancements for Kiosk Mode. Today's session will be primarily a live demo with the sole focus on the new Kiosk Mode functionality. I'm going to walk you through how Kiosk Mode works in real-world scenarios, explore the different configuration options, and show you exactly how these updates can streamline attendance management in your school. And after the demo, I'll open the floor for your questions. I love that opportunity, so please drop them in the chat anytime during the session. Before we dive in, I do have a request for all of you. In the chat right now, if you'd like, could you please share your top reason for wanting an AutoTardy kiosk solution in your district? Whether it's reducing administrative workload, improving accuracy, maybe enhancing student accountability, or something else entirely. Just a quick one line, it would be awesome if you'd like to add that. Kiosk Mode builds on AutoTardy's Office Mode and adds a host of new features while maintaining the core functionality and purpose of the plugin to streamline your entire Tardy process with automation that records directly to PowerSchool and ensures your data is accurate. While Office Mode is designed for the office, where the attendance process is monitored by staff, the Kiosk Mode provides a self-service option where students can check themselves in. So both Office and Kiosk Modes are part of the AutoTardy plugin. For this demo, I won't be touching on the Office Mode features and functionality. Instead, I'm going to be focused on the new kiosk features. All right, let's get started. Let's bring this up. Everybody should be seeing the PowerSchool page here. If you don't, please somebody chime in and let me know. But if you see it, I'm gonna get started. First, today we are going to explore the three main ways that districts can use Kiosk Mode, so you can see it in action. So regardless of the way the kiosk will be used at the school, all the attendance activity will be recorded using the same page. It's called the kiosk activity page. And once the user is logged into PowerSchool, you can use the left navigation bar to open the kiosk attendance page, right here, AutoTardy kiosk attendance, or alternatively, you can configure the page to load automatically. So here we are, and the first use case we will talk about is using Kiosk Mode to manage attendance such as tardy arrivals and early dismissals. So on the kiosk page, the student simply needs to enter their ID number to the student search field, and attendance will be recorded. And so if it's configured, a hall pass will also be generated. And of course, the attendance along with the timestamp will be recorded to the student's attendance record. So let me show you how that works. I'm going to use two different input methods here. I'm going to use a keypad method, entering the student ID number. And notice that I have a hall pass that's generated. All of my attendance has already been recorded for my student. My hall pass is configured for this particular attendance code. And I also determined that I wanted to display some pop-up information, also configurable on the kiosk page. And I've chosen to show student photos. So that was attendance being shown using the keyboard method. The next method I'm going to use is using a finger scan method. And it's going to do the same behavior behind the scenes. Attendance is going to be recorded, but I'm just using a different input method, my finger scanner. So I'm going to place my finger on the scanner, and if you can watch closely, again, we see the same behavior. My hall pass comes up, my hall pass prints, and now my student is off to class. I want to show you one more here on the attendance recording side of things. I'm going to actually change the code that I use, and I'm going to use the keypad method for this particular student. Oops, that's not the number I wanted. And away we go. Submit that attendance for this particular code, and student has their hall pass, and now they're off to class. Real quick, we're talking seconds. Students come in, attendance is recorded, hall pass is generated, and off they go to class. Kiosk mode supports all the same input options as office mode: ID card, pin pad, finger scan, or student lookup. You can decide which input options work best for your school. So using a mix of input methods is perfectly fine as well. Many districts take advantage of that. Attendance codes available on the kiosk are configurable. So each kiosk can display only one code or any available code you decide. In this example, I've configured my kiosk to display a tardy and an early out only. There's also configurable pop-up options to display student photo, student name, or student ID. So you can show as much or as little student information on the kiosk as you wish. And that was, again, that where we saw the student photo pop up. We're calling them pop-ups. You know, it's a pop-up information. You decide how much you want to see. Okay, so that was an example of using kiosk to record attendance. Another way to use kiosk mode is as a security checkpoint to verify student entry to your building. You can manage entry to your building at any time during the day. Kiosk mode has built-in configurable options to display alerts for students to deny or allow entry to your building. For example, if you want to deny entry for students who are suspended, you could put a deny entry flag for that code. So any student that's been assigned that code will be denied entry. Or maybe you want your kiosk to deny entry for a student that doesn't attend the school that they're trying to enter. That scenario would create an alert to deny entry. So let's take a look at how that works. So I'm going to use the keypad method to enter a student, and watch closely. Notice I have an alert stop, and I had a denial reason, which was attendance. This student happened to have an attendance code assigned, which was a suspension that was not allowing her to enter the building. And the stop alert recognized that the flag had been set, and now there was an alert displayed for this student coming into the building. Let's look at another alert display. I'm going to use the keypad entry again here. Notice here, we had a student trying to enter, and the deny entry flag was because this student attends a different school. So now the team is alerted that somebody is trying to come into the building that doesn't belong. And let's just take a look at a student that actually is allowed to enter. Here's a student. She's allowed to enter. We're recording attendance for her, and away she goes. So this example here was using the kiosk to allow you to manage entry to your building at any time during the day. Okay, now I'd like to talk about another way that you can use kiosk mode, which is use kiosk mode for non-attendance related situations. And I'm just going to move over to another school in Apple Grove here. I'm going to go to Washington Elementary, and let's get positioned here. And I'm going to navigate to my kiosk attendance page for this particular demonstration. So kiosk mode can be used for non-attendance related situations. So what does that mean? Well, for example, students arriving to the building in the morning before the start of the day. It lets you know who's in the building. Students checking into the nurse's office, library, or resource centers, where you're interested in tracking movement throughout the day, but you don't want to record attendance. Another example, managing after-school events like basketball games or school dances. You want to know who attended and also if they're allowed to attend. So let's see this in action, okay? So a couple things I want to point out here. Notice here that for the non-attendance related events, the kiosk page display removes the attendance code option, letting you know that we are not recording an attendance event. Let's go ahead and get a few students in here. Here's a student allowed in the building. We are maybe going into the nurse's office, and that student moves along. Another student coming in, welcome, you're allowed into the resource center. Glad you've joined us. And now we have a student that is trying to get into a basketball game. He goes to a different school. It was an alert. He's not allowed into that event. So a couple of examples to show you how we can manage non-attendance related situations at your kiosk. All kiosk activity will be logged onto a designated page in PowerSchool, cleverly called the kiosk activity page. We'll review that shortly. Any attendance-related information at the kiosks also gets recorded to the attendance activity page that is associated with the office mode, but also expands to the kiosk mode for attendance-related information. I want to highlight that you can use kiosk mode and office mode in the same school. You can use kiosk mode for the self-service scenarios, like the three I just mentioned. And you can maintain office mode for the office staff to handle any attendance that requires discussion or interaction. Okay, now that we saw it in action, let's explore the setup. And if you give me just a quick minute here, I'm going to go back to Apple Grove High School and we'll start here. Actually, though, I'm going to make another skip in just a minute. The first part of the configuration involves setting up or creating your kiosk user accounts. That's done at the district office level. So let's go there first, actually. So let's head up to the district office. You will create a kiosk user account or configure an existing user account in PowerSchool. That will be the user's for the kiosk station. Let's show you where we do that. People, staff, AutoTardy user management. And again, I'm at the district office level. Let's pop in here. All scanning and attendance activities performed while logged in with your kiosk user account will be attributed to that user. This allows you to track and report on activity by specific kiosk location. Okay, let's take a look at this page a little bit closer. Every record down here is an existing PowerSchool user. And you can see my display for my existing users. Go over here to the edit option. And what you can do here is create the user settings for your kiosk. We've also create user option, which opens up our user creation template to create your kiosk user account. We make it nice and simple here so you can just manage all of that on this page. Kiosk user settings include options to configure based on how your kiosk is going to be used. So let's kind of scroll down here and I'm going to go into depth on some of these in another section, but I just wanted to get your eyes on it to see the information that we provide on this template. You can do using all of core PowerSchool's, typical, behavior and settings. If you use the select all, you can do a mass edit, select users, export data. Okay, so we're using that same functionality. Since settings are configured by user, it provides tremendous flexibility for the kiosks being used in your school. So while one kiosk at the school can record tardies, another kiosk can record early dismissal, and yet another one can verify students for events. All of these with audit trails. Okay, now we're going to move from our user settings to our district and school level settings. So while we're in the district office, let's just take a peek at these for a minute. District management, attendance, AutoTardy district settings. So let's just drop in here. The district level settings include the office mode settings, but they also have the kiosk mode settings listed here. So the district level settings are available and can define the kiosk settings for all schools in the district with an option for a school override if desired. So all of these kiosk mode settings here are also available at the school level. So I want to drop down here to the school level, and I want to step through those options and talk about them in a little bit more depth. School management, attendance, AutoTardy school settings. So let's scroll down here past our office mode settings and our main settings and our hall pass settings, and let's land right here in our kiosk mode settings. So let's just step through these. I want to give you an idea of what all of these mean and how it related to our examples when I was showing you how it worked. The enable kiosk mode, one toggle turns it on at the school, and if at the district, for all authorized schools. The welcome message duration, that controls how long the welcome screen the welcome screen stays visible for the allowed students. The deny entry, the stop message duration, that sets how long the stop screen and the audio alert displays for the denied entries. Suppress tardy slip pop-up, that stops the automatic tardy slip printing for kiosk used codes that might normally print hall passes. There might be some use cases where you want a code to print in the office, but you don't want it to print at the kiosk, but you want to use the same code. Search student by name. Allow or block a manual name search. Deny repeated scans in last number of minutes. This prevents tailgating or double scans by blocking the same student from scanning again too soon. So you could set this and you could toggle through the number of minutes that would be allowed before that scanned ID could happen again. Pop-up information. Let me just scroll down here. Here's our pop-up information. Pop-up information allows you to pick exactly what student information is going to be displayed on that kiosk. These can be overridden per kiosk. And denial reasons, set school-wide denial reasons for denying entry, but these can also be overridden at the kiosk level. And the checkbox is check and then multi-select here. That's how that goes. Okay, so that was our second stop. We went to the user management, then we went to our kiosk level settings, and we only have one more stop before our plugin is configured for the kiosk side of things, and it's the attendance code level settings. So let's jump over there right now. I'm going to scroll up. We give you a nice little link here to get to that attendance code page. So I'm going to just select a code that I used here, and there's only 3 attendance code settings that you need to manage for your kiosk. You decide whether or not you want to enable the code for use at the kiosk. Simple, check if you want it, deselect it if you don't. Deny entry for this attendance code. This would use the code to deny entry would be, for example, a suspended code or potentially a medical reason. So if you want that code to trigger a flag to send that alert, this is where you would enter that information. And then suppress the welcome alert when selected. This allows you to skip the welcome when the code is used. For example, your early dismissals, you wouldn't want a welcome sign coming because the student is leaving. So that's those are your attendance code options. So that's it. That's how easy it is to get everything set up. Install, configure, and you're ready to go. couple other things that I want to look at right now. I want to talk about where you can view all the information that's collected at the kiosks. I had mentioned that before. And all the activity at the kiosk at your kiosks will be available on the kiosk activity page. Let me show you where you'd find that. Over on the left navigation bar, you can select attendance. And under attendance reports, we have AutoTardy kiosk activity. So let's take a look here. This page allows you to manage all of your kiosk activity. It's going to show you both attendance and non-attendance activity. It's also going to show you both entries that were allowed and entries that were denied. So let me just scroll down so you can get a nice look at this page. I have some entry denied information here. I have some entry allowed and resolved records, and let's just talk about this a little bit further. Basic filter, you can always take advantage of that. There are two other filters that will allow you to filter the initial scan results or potentially the override results. So let's take a look at the drop down. So lots of granular filtering options. Scan date, scan range. So go ahead and sort your data as you need to. Let's just open this up here. You can also scan with some other we have some other filtering opportunities here so that you can find data that you're looking for very easily. Makes it easy to manage the data that you've collected. Let's take a look at the entry denials. The entry denials give you an opportunity to resolve someone that's been denied. Maybe the student is actually allowed in the building, or you have addressed the situation and now you want to move it down here into a different position so you don't think you have anybody outstanding to handle. You can go ahead and resolve any particular denied entry. It then moves down. Here we go. It's going to still retain the result, but it's going to drop it into a different position. I want to show you this great option. It allows you to use this edit option to resolve, and along with that resolution, create a new status. Maybe it's a warning. Maybe it's another. Maybe you want to put in an additional reason that modifies the status for the particular entry. You can do that here. And you also have an area to write notes, anything that would pertain to this particular event. And an unresolved, you can also, if you wanted to unresolve something, you could do that as well. Oops, I made a mistake. I want to return that where it belongs. Okay, so a lot of opportunity here on this page. Filter options, date range searches, so you know who scanned, when, where, and the result. And all of the data can be exported. So you can do an export your denies, export your allows. And then we're back here. A couple things that I want to mention. I didn't talk about the office mode, but as you can see, the kiosk page link is just below the front office or the office mode page link, and the same on the attendance activity side. Attendance activity on the AutoTardy for any attendance activity, and then your kiosk activity is conveniently located right underneath that. Okay, so I'm ready to take some questions, and I would love to hear from everybody. Do we have any questions, Brian?
Yeah, let's give everybody a minute to enter those questions in. This is a serious upgrade to the regular AutoTardy plugin, so thank you for pointing out all these features. I can certainly see how secretaries would gain a lot of time back in their day just by using these new features within AutoTardy plugin.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for pointing them out. So we got a couple questions coming in. You mentioned a couple of different ID entry methods. Can you run through those real quick?
Absolutely. Different ID entry methods would include the finger scan option. A great way to provide security and accuracy to that kiosk location, right? Kids come to school with these every day. They don't forget them, and they belong to the student who's scanning. So a great option there. You can use a keypad entry, okay? If you have keypads, pin pads, it's a fine way to manage your student identification. ID cards, if you have ID cards, you could use a barcode scanner and you could use your barcode scanner on your ID card. That's going to handle your ID management. And there's also a student search option. While, that would be something that you can configure, turn it on, or say, I don't want to use that option, but it's available for you to make that decision. That answer it? Did I get it?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Can you talk about some of the other ways that you can use this solution other than just in the classroom? I know you pointed out a bunch of features. Can we come up with some ways in which schools can use it in other areas?
Sure. I mean, if you think about it, and let's kind of step back a minute because I want to talk about, we talked about using it for attendance. You don't have to be locked into using it for just tardy or early dismissals. You can use it for any attendance code that you want to assign to your students. Maybe you have students exiting the building and they're going on a field trip. Go ahead and use it for that type of a scenario. So you can use it for attendance, not locked into tardy and early dismissals, any attendance across the board. Um, the idea of using it for non-attendance related events, this is where you can get extremely creative. There are so many ways that schools need to track students throughout the day where attendance is not desirable. So for example, like as I was mentioning, checking into the nurse's office or to the library, to resource centers, you want to track movement throughout the day, but you don't want to record attendance. Let the kiosk handle that for you. Go ahead and have your students check in. You know how much time a student spent in the Math Resource Center. Wow, that's valuable. A student that potentially is struggling with math, well, now you have some metrics to say, wow, well, they're really trying, and here are the things that this student is doing. Helps to support that student in that particular area of study. Basketball games, football games, sporting events. What about, before school care? There's lots of different ways that you can use this kiosk, attendance related, non-attendance related areas, and have an audit trail because we're tracking it for you inside of that kiosk activity page. Is that good? Did I answer that one okay?
I believe you caught a lot of those
Yeah.
other use cases for sure. I'm sure schools will come up with a ton more that we're not
Oh,
thinking of at the moment.
absolutely. And Brian, that's a great point because just the people that I've talked to along the way, sharing with this moment when kiosk was going to be available, boy, did they share some ideas that some of them we've already included because we hadn't thought of. But yeah, everyone's getting creative about how they can use the solution.
Wonderful. Let's move on to another question here. Can this work for
Yeah,
taking classroom attendance?
it can. Absolutely, it could. I mean, if you wanted to, here's what I'm going to point out. It certainly can go ahead and you certainly can have every student that walks in scan and that attendance record will be assigned to that student's attendance record. What we won't know or what the solution won't manage to is the students that don't scan in because they haven't scanned. We don't, we're not accounting for that. If you're interested in a classroom solution, we do have another plugin called Auto Attendance Classroom Edition, cleverly, and I'd be happy to talk more about that with you.
Get some more information.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
as a reminder to everybody, this recording will be sent to you after this meeting, and all of our contact information will be there. So if you want to learn more about Classroom Edition, please let us know. Thank you.
Please.
Another question is, when students check in on iPad for Tardies, do Tardies automatically link to PowerSchool?
Yeah, we are built directly into PowerSchool. Everything that we're doing on the attendance portion of things is directly linked to the PowerSchool attendance tables. Yes, the answer is yes. Yes and yes.
And our final questions, I guess we have two more, but
Okay.
could this work for any check-in, check-out of class, example, bathroom and water fountain?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely can use it for that. You certainly can use it for checking in and out of class, and someone would just need to be if you monitor that attendance the kiosk activity page, you'll be able to see that activity logged. So the answer is yes.
Another one here is, are we getting a manual to train other people in our building?
Yes, there will be a wonderful user guide and also some videos on the way here, because I think that this it would be very useful to have some supporting videos as well. So yes, a user guide. Also, don't forget, we're here to help you. If you have questions and you need guidance, that's what we're here for. So please reach out, because we're here because we want you to be successful with our tools and with our training. So, please let us know and we can help you out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The final question I've got here is, seems like a great product. Is there any way to try it out?
Absolutely. We offer free trials. Free trials are a great way to determine if this tool is going to fit your district's needs. So if you're interested in a free trial, please let us know. We run them for a couple of weeks and you get a chance to see if it's a good fit. We get to make a friend. And if it works for you, super. We move in that direction. If it doesn't, then we just, thank you for trying, and maybe another tool will work for you in the future.
And that's all the questions I have that I see up here.
Well, I just want to end and say a couple of things here. AutoTardy Kiosk Mode delivers. You can build stronger building security with automated denials and alerts, accurate attendance or check-ins, total flexibility because you have different rules per kiosk location, audit trails for peace of mind, minimal setup, massive time savings. So it's just a slide with our information. I do want to give a huge shout out to our partners, MBA and PowerSchool. Thank you. We truly value our partnership. If you have any questions, please reach out. If you'd like a quote, schedule a demo, want to have a one-on-one, please reach out to Identimetrics. We'd love to hear from you, and we look forward to working with you in the future. Thanks, everybody, for joining.